I also wanted to ask you about the investigation into your families. But this is also part of her congressional duties. Congresswoman, you know, you're under investigation for the congressional ethics for violation of campaign finances. Congresswoman, this is your district. You have to answer to these people.
Tonight's red hot video, that is Florida Democrat Congresswoman, an actual member of Congress. Sheila Cherfilus-McCormick is her name. Ever heard of her? Me neither. Nobody else has at the table either. Well, she just introduced herself to the country from coast to coast, and not in the way perhaps that she would have wanted to. Back in February, a local news reporter asked Cherfilus-McCormick about a campaign finance investigation into her and her family, because it's all in the family. And as you saw, she just ran for cover there. They miss the days of the Soviet Union, don't they? Yesterday, the Justice Department indicted her, believe it or not, on charges that she stole and laundered $5 million American dollars in federal relief funds, FEMA money, meant for her constituents, of course, and then she laundered it to use it to fund her congressional campaign in 2021, and she laundered it through family members and close associates. According to the indictment, Cherfilus-McCormick and her brother, Edwin, keep it all in the family, you know, worked their families, listen now, healthcare company. That's right, they've got their own healthcare company on FEMA-funded COVID-19 vaccination staffing contract in 2021. And then they conspired to steal the $5 million and routed it through multiple accounts to disguise the original source of the money. How sneaky, how criminal, isn't that amazing? The charges allege that the Congresswoman and another defendant also used straw donors for additional campaign contributions, and they funneled other money from FEMA, the Federal Emergency Management Agency, you know, for hurricanes and stuff, to her friends and her relatives. Isn't it great? Who in turn then made big donations to her congressional campaign, and now she's in Congress. It was, you know, as if it was their own money, but it wasn't, because that's not all. There is more. The indictment also charges the Congresswoman and her tax preparer, her tax person, falsely claiming that political spending and other personal expenses at business deductions, oh, they're just business deductions, but they're very, very crooked people, and $5 million. And they inflated their charitable contributions as well in order to reduce her tax obligations, you know, with the IRS, and don't mess with the IRS. And if convicted, this is crazy, Cherfilus-McCormick faces up to 53 years in prison. Nobody gets 53 years in prison for murdering 3 school children in Washington, D.C. Pretty amazing stuff. But this is wild. And she just thought, hey, I'm in politics now. I'll just steal $5 million, funnel it to my brother and my friends, and then I'll have them funnel it back to me for TV ads so I can win a seat in Congress.
So I have kind of 2 thoughts on this. One is the political route. Okay, I love to see the Trump DOJ going after some of these Democrats with their mortgage fraud issues. Maybe look at COVID pandemic payments, okay? Because when I was doing some research, I think it was Google AI told me that this is the biggest fraud in a generation. How many times do we hear about overpayments like this? Also, I think it was earlier this week, the Chicago public schools, they went from like 0.3 million for their teacher training to like 7.7 in a matter of years, and they were taking trips like overseas to Egypt and these poor kids.
House in
and
New
there, you know, I
Mexico.
think 33% of the children there are like reading at state level and doing math at state level. 33%, but you know their supervisors are all you know, going to Egypt and whatnot.
And the mayor of Chicago is a former educator, a school teacher himself.
Oh yeah. So the other angle is here. I think she already faced what was it, a congressional office ethics review, and that started even before, like in 2024. And one of the best things I read from one of the reports said that she went from $86,000 in 2020, okay, like these healthcare services payments, to nearly $6 million in 2021 for consulting fees. I was like, that is some high dollar advice she's giving out.
Yeah, it is.
I would love a bump like that.
That's good
from
advice.
year to year.
Bradley, you want to start a consulting firm? You and me, we can start a consulting firm, and there are a lot of Democrats in town that need a lot of help.
I think so. I'm clearly in the wrong line of work. Look, as a former congressional staffer, I'm upset that I hadn't thought of the cover your boss's face with a folder defense. The old maxim on Capitol Hill was the easiest job in Congress was a communications director for a Democrat because you're totally immune to criticism. You never get any hard questions. Look, I doubt that this is the only instance of this type of thing going on, but I'll point out that she is now the third House Democrat who is under indictment. You have Henry Cuellar for bribery. You have LaMonica McIver for assaulting a law enforcement agent at an ICE facility. You have this week all of these Democrats who now have found religion when it comes to Jeffrey Epstein, but just in recent years after his conviction for sex crimes, they were soliciting him for donations and to set up meetings. So it just is all the more perplexing that they worked so hard to frame Donald Trump as a criminal when they clearly don't care about crime in their own ranks.
And they're Jason, and they're inciting insurrection in the military ranks and the intelligence community. And I'm beginning to think the Democrats aren't really on our side.
So first of all, I would say, you brought up Bill Pulte and the mortgage investigations.
Those that live in glass houses.
He's under investigation himself right now. And I would say to the Congresswoman, don't worry, probably Donald Trump will pardon you because he likes to pardon people who have committed financial crimes. So whether it's Duncan Hunter or George Santos, and he pardoned CZ, the Chinese national.
Well, George Washington likes pardoning people too, right?
Who also profited off of child exploitation and drug trafficking. So, I would say, you said that this was the largest fraud in a generation. She still deserves to have her day in court. But I can tell you, Rick Scott, whose company overbilled Medicaid in Florida, that was the largest fraud in history, Medicaid fraud or Medicare fraud in history. So, and he made it to be a governor and then a senator. So maybe she's got if she were a Republican, she'd have a great future ahead of her.
Well, we could have bring Joe Biden back, and he could pardon everybody like he did his son. And
with his auto pen.
And he could just use his auto pen.
Or all the child exploiters from January 6th who got pardoned.
Child exploiters.
Yeah,
January
there's quite
6th,
a few of them. Look it up.
Together.
Furniture movers.
Quite a few of them.
Yeah, sure. And we'll bring Joe Biden's auto pen back.
Everybody's reporting the same stories, the same spin. You turn the channel, it's always the same. But not us. We're different. We report the real news. No spin, just the facts. Turn to us, and you won't turn back.
Tune in to Rob Schmidt tonight on Newsmax.